Welcome to Solutions from the Yard, a candid discussion about life behind bars and its effect on society. We'll discuss reintegration or re-entry back into the community post-incarceration. Your host for this episode is Dietrich Trent.
Welcome to Solutions from the Yard. Today, I'm your host, Dietrich Trent, and I got my two brothers here, Brother Charles Hopkins and Brother Michael Dickerson-El. How y'all doing today?
Doing great, bro.
Doing fine. Mm-hmm.
It's good to see y'all. Good to see you.
Good to be seen.
Yes. Y'all been working hard this week?
Oh, always.
Always.
That's what we do at VSC.
I hear y'all. It's understandable. So today's topic, audience, the title of this show today will be about DC Counsel versus the Congress. Last week or so, we seen what happened when they voted 81-14 to bet down the new DC crime bill. It's a lot of stuff, we need to talk about today, fellas, when we're relating to this crime bill that was shot down. It was a lot of stuff that was in this crime bill that I felt that was imperative to moving DC forward when it comes to crime, rehabilitation, everything that's dealing with the judicial system. I think that it was the bill was very fair to me, but that's my opinion, and we here to talk about that. So let me open up with something that happened. This is 100 years in the making.
Come on.
Right?
That's right.
This is 100 years in the making. DC never, ever did anything to really change the whole criminal code of DC. A lot of things been revised and reenacted or stuff of this nature or taken away, but nothing never really said let's redo this DC City criminal code. Reason why I'm saying this because it's laws that's in our criminal code that go so far back to colonial time.
Mm-hmm.
Laws that don't even exist now today. Right. It's some stuff in there that matter of fact, one of the charges that I got was charged with. It was for penal time and it was a law that was invented in 1901. So it's just a lot of ambiguous things with which this is which is I'm appalled about, because for so many years I didn't heard how bad the DC criminal code was, how messed up it was constructed for so many years. And now when we had a vital opportunity to change it, and this is a democratic, I can't call it a state because we're in that state, but this is a democratic territory, what I'm gonna call it, and the Democrats shot it down. The reason why I think that they shot it down is because two things: voting, right, and the thing. Every time this is not no party, because it's not about the Republican this and that. This is about DC citizens, right? This versus us against all of them. So the thing that one of the things was I said was about voting, and the other thing was about Democrats being looked at as soft on crime.
Yeah, that's right.
Every time that they get in, they always be the opposite party say they're soft on crime. And reason why I'm gonna say it, and I want to hear from you two brothers, because I've read a statement that, and I don't want to. It's not verbatim, but it was from, I guess, the senator from Tennessee, and he said, "Man, that DC changing laws, they don't being soft on crime, and they're not thinking about all the people that comes to visit DC." That was his the visit, and actually, I guess the senator from Virginia said, yes, Virginians travel to DC every day, and I don't think that them new crime bills are appropriate for Virginians be traveling to DC with all the carjacking and all the such all the crimes that they put out there in the media. And he said that's the reason why he shot. That was one of the reasons he shot there for his people. He spoke for his people. He was right for speaking for his people, Virginians. But how can you speak for your people that don't live in my city? You make you basing your judgment, your feelings off of something that you're not here. You don't pay here. But I want to open this floor up because my thing is what I feel about DC citizens. I will hold that for later on to talk about that. But brother Dickerson-El, how you feeling, man? And then please please tell me, what is your insight on this crime bill that was shot down last week?
Well, me personally, being a victim of it,
Yes.
It's a lot to say.
Say it.
But I'm gonna try to be concise. First and foremost, how can a senator or any politician that don't live in the Washington area or the metropolitan area have any say so anyway? That's unlawful anyway. But we gotta look at, man. We had a discussion not too long ago about how, the crime rate is up, but you have what you call, police, or another name for them is called law enforcement. The law haven't been really enforced. People, catching crimes and they not even going to court. A crime that you usually stay over DC jail for, you don't even go, because of the COVID thing. And COVID really kind of like opened the doors to me for a lot of this to come into play, because it was ordered that, they was going to make less arrests. They was going to be, more soft on crime because they couldn't put nobody in the prisons because of COVID. Mm-hmm. So now you got a bunch of people running around lawless because law enforcement ain't enforcing the law. And me and Chuck, we was just out today, and a lady came and she did a U-turn. This the funny part. The lady did a U-turn in the middle of the street, and the police was parked right there across the street. It made a U-turn right in his face, and she ran the red light. We at the red light. She pulled around me, ran the red light to make a U-turn, and the police was sitting right across the street, and the flashes didn't even come on. And see, this is, to me, like I say, this is my opinion. I'm not God, or I'm not a politician. But we know one thing for certain, two things for sure. Prisons got to have a quota of how many people are in them. That's number one. They have a quota. They also have a census, because whatever town or county they in, they are part of that census. So therefore, since COVID been going on, all these brothers and sisters have been getting out of prison. Now the prisons are starting to empty out. That quota, they starting to be go below their quota. So now the whole, from what I see, this is just a scheme to get them back into prison. Because, man, you really got to think about it. The South and the North, the Confederates and the Union went to war over slavery, and the South was like, nah, we not freeing nothing. We ain't freeing nobody. They wanted slavery to go on forever. So just think about it. Why would you be freeing the slaves? You letting go of your money. So therefore, to me, it's just a revolving door. This just set the tone to fill the prisons back up, and that's what it set the tone. It set the tone to fill the prisons back up after they didn't let so many people come home during COVID, because I came home during COVID. A lot of us came home during the pandemic, and they emptied out a lot of prisons. A lot of people been coming home. So now it's time to fill them back up, because guess what? Karl Malone, Michael Jordan, all of them had to retire. And guess what? Who came in behind them? Fresh legs. So therefore, all these fresh legs are coming in. They getting rid of all the old heads, because all the old heads, they done whipped us so bad. We ain't talking no yes or massa no more. We talking good articulate English and everything. Now we done came out and we doing the right thing. You see what I'm saying? We not going back. So they gotta fill them prisons back up. You know what I'm saying? Because we not going to But a lot of the guys that I came home with and that did a lot of time, we not gonna be a part of the recidivism rate. So now we got to put some fresh legs back in there, and you know, some of the ones they can get a whole lot of years out of, then let them go, and then turn around, lock them back up again. You know, and it's just, you know, to me it's just a business plan to me.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. It is strictly business. But I want to, and before I get to you, Brother Charles, I'm coming straight to you because I see you over there. You ready to get into it. But I want to enlighten the audience one thing. So this, why did they change the code law? It wasn't just because they said, let's change it. It was because they was trying to modernize and follow suit what other states was doing to their criminal code, right? Mm-hmm. So they followed 29 other states that already modernized their own criminal codes. In 2006, the D.C. Counsel kicked off an effort that would stretch over 16 years, produced thousands of pages of research, legal analysts, and debate over criminal offenses and penalties, and resulted in a bill drafted of 7,500 lines of reform over more than 300 pages that was delivered to the city lawmakers in March of 2001. And some of the things that was listed in there, so I want the audience to know, because we not saying, like, we understand that crime is happening and everything, but we saying that some of the bills that was in there was there to protect the people and to help the people, right? Because D.C. is not the only state that did this. Or I keep saying D.C. is state, but we wasn't the only ones that did this. So what was revised, the criminal code, what was revised was they was removing outdated criminal offenses, which I said, these criminal offenses are over 100-some years old. Rewrite and clarify other offenses. Create new graded sentences to match the offenses. Eliminate most mandatory minimums. Now, this is the one that we're going to talk about coming up shortly. Reinstate the right to a jury trial for misdemeanors, and allow people who have served 20 years of their sentence to request early release. Now, Brother Charles, the floor is yours. Tell me how you feel about this.
All right, and the bigger picture is that, one, D.C. City Council made this decision. You just invoked the 29 other states,
yes,
right? So 29 other states revising their criminal code. But the purpose, the whole thing about the revision of criminal code throughout the United States is on the heels of what has been known to be the response to the citizens of society, saying like, eliminate the mass incarceration in the prison industrial complex. So the way to do that is to revise the laws that put people in there. So this is what DC is. DC is only following suit with nationwide
what's been
sentiment.
going on.
That's
right,
first, right?
Yes.
But more importantly, DC City Council, right, that's elected by the people, that and represent different jurisdictions, had hearings on this, and citizens came out and said they wanted a revision of the criminal code. So in the process of like you say, the 16 year, in that 16-year process, they had hearings on it. They had people talking about. They had experts evaluating it.
Yes.
So they put a lot of time into it. The problem being that D.C. is not a state, and because D.C. is not a state, they can vote till they blue in the face for any and everything. But if Congress say they don't want it, then they don't want it. Now go back to the point. All right. So Congress is saying that they soft on crime. But when you look at the crime, the D.C., the revision of the criminal code, all right, all the revisions is designed to create equity in sentencing. All the revisions is designed is to like create a mechanism where the person that's has received a penalty can progress throughout the system, can get out of the system. And stopping
equaling the playing field.
Right. Stopping mass incarceration.
Right.
All right. This is it. Now they saying soft on crime. Okay. That this is the narrative that Congress is painting.
Right.
They're soft on crime. But look at some of their towns. All
yes.
Right? Let's look at West Virginia, because West Virginia senator got involved.
Yes.
Right. You know what they call West Virginia?
Opioid heaven. Yes, I know that.
Opioid heaven. But you don't hear him talking about let's revise the laws about opioid in West Virginia. You don't hear him talking about crime is on the uptick in West Virginia.
Right.
Let's talk about Tennessee.
Oh, we know what's going on down there. Memphis, they getting it. Yeah,
They put work in, but you don't hear them talking about that. But they can see, they can pick on DC because DC don't have no autonomy. DC really don't have no autonomy. DC have to when they pass a budget, they have to bag that they get the money that they entitled to. So when I look at the revision of the crime bill, I'm looking at it from the perspective that this is another attempt to segregate and relegate us back to the plantation. And I think you said it. We was talking the other day. You said tax was still a slave.
Yeah, we're tax-paying slaves. That's what DC citizens are. Tax-paying slaves.
So I think that at the end of the day, right, we really need to ask ourselves, what can we do to change this narrative? Because if our elected officials are doing their due diligence and representing the interests of, because this is in the interest of this community, you throw out carjackings, you throw out guns. These is what they call them dog whistles. This is like red meat. They call these dog whistles. When you throw terms like, guns, automatically anything related to gun, and when you say a gun, then you automatically say like, oh, well, guns and violence. You just associate with, like you say, carjacking. But the reality is that the crime bill, the DC crime bill, was going to do more to eliminate crime than it was to foster crime because it was thought out over a period of time. And lastly, when I turn this back over to you, we're talking about 100 years. You know they got some.
Yeah.
You know they got some things in there that you can't walk on that you can't walk on one side of the street.
I know.
And that's a Jim Crow law that they got in the DC criminal code saying that if you walk on the side of the street that the white man on, you subject to be whiplashed.
Man, listen,
that's in the DC criminal code.
What did I just say? They want DC citizens are tax-paying slaves. We don't have a voice, right? And I'm glad you spoke on that because I want to get to now with this veto, right? And the president shooting this down, this DC crime bill. Does this bring up, do DC have an argument? Because I'm going to paint the picture to y'all, right? 41 other states overturned their laws that anyone that's subject to possible jail time, I don't care if it's a misdemeanor, whatever it is, you're subject to a trial. DC is the only state. I ain't keep saying state. DC is the right. DC, our city council, and I big up my city council because they was trying to level in the playing field like everybody else, right? 41 other states approve that if you're facing jail time and if it's a misdemeanor, you have a right to a trial. We don't. Now, reason why I'm bringing this up because what constitutions that stands today, what amendments that tells you that you have a right to a trial?
14th Amendment.
And what's the other one?
I think it's the
7th. So what is being done to DC citizens then? Why are we not subject? So the Constitution don't apply to DC citizens? Once again, I say we are taxpaying slaves. Listen to me, audience. We telling y'all this. Wake up once again. If the Constitution 14 and 17 don't apply to me, right, then none of it applies to me.
Yeah.
None of it applies to me. You can't just tell me something of the Constitution don't apply to me or it applies to you, but other states saying, no, we taking that out. Because we know that wasn't right back then. That's right the wrong that's been going on for so many years. 41 other states did it. How you feel about that, Mike?
Man, that's crazy. I mean, it's really sad, but I look at things from esoteric eye, and just like Chuck brought up, the governor of West. You said the governor of West Virginia,
the state senator.
State senator. He worrying about DC, but he ain't worrying about West Virginia, because the last time I checked, the opioid crisis up there is not based on us. You know what I'm saying? We not the ones suffering from the opioid crisis up there. You know what I'm saying? It's his race that's suffering from the opioid crisis. So, why would you toughen up or stiffen up laws that's going to affect your people? That's why I always look at it just like like Brother Charles brought up, the slave code laws and the black code laws. Those laws was made just for us, and they never went nowhere. They just been renamed, but they never went nowhere. So therefore, those laws was just for us. And that's why you got to understand the reason why they don't want to change these laws, because they just for us. They not for them. They for us.
Speak on it.
So that's why they don't want to change them. Now, let DC get all the way gentrified. All this stuff going to change.
What?
Yeah, all is going to change. And that's the truth. Just like I had the argument one time when I was in prison with one of my comrades, and he was like, "Oh man, DC trying to get the Second Amendment passed. They can carry pistols. Man, they ain't gonna do that. We ain't had no pistols in DC for all these years." And I looked at him, I said, "Man, haven't you been watching the news and hearing from other guys that's coming in saying that DC is getting gentrified and it ain't Chocolate City no more?" I said, "I guarantee you they gonna pass the Second Amendment. We can bet whatever you want to bet." And guess what? They passed it with flying colors, because guess who was lobbying to the city council to get it? It was the Europeans. I mean, that just keep it plain and simple. Because it's when it was Chocolate City, we couldn't have them. When it was Chocolate City. So now all of a sudden, soon to get gentrified, now all of a sudden they pass the Second Amendment. But that's what I'm saying. That's the whole thing that you got to understand. Like, a person don't want to have to pull a race car, but when you really look at it, that's what's going on. Because like during the time of slavery, when we was written in with that's the First Amendment article 2 of it, when it said that we was 3/5 of a human being. And for real, a lot of people don't understand that that's never changed for real.
Right.
They saying that the 14th Amendment that patched it up, but it still never changed. Because you still calling us by the names that delude slavery, Negro, black, and color.
Say it again.
So therefore, when they were still calling us that, they was calling us names that delude the slavery and the principles and anything that go along with it. That's why they had what was called the Black Code laws, the Negro Act. All those things was laws that was geared towards a certain race of people. So none of those laws have changed. Those laws still been the same. They just renamed them, switched it up a little bit, but the laws are still the same, and we are still going through the same things that, the slaves went through. So, when you say that, we tax slaves, I mean, when did it ever stop?
Yeah, you absolutely right about that. I want to let somebody that the audience know that our mayor,
Come on.
right, she pushed more aggressively than anyone to make DC a state. And I'm supporter on that. I support her on that, right? But she remained far more muted when it came to this crime bill and the council. And who was more vocal was our AG, our Attorney General. He's the head police of the DC. If he supports this bill,
Yeah.
because his office the ones got to do all the persecuting of anyone that violates this bill. If he supports this bill, don't it? Okay, that speaks volume, right? That speaks volume to me, and I just think that she took a back seat. Hey, you didn't win this one, but let's work with it, right? But what did happen quietly was something was added to the bill was to revise and strengthen some of the penalties that was on the bill. That went back up there, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing now. They talking about rewriting and making some of the things back, making some of the penalties more harsher and this and that, right? But at the end of the day, if we want to become a state, why are we not aligning ourselves with the rest of the states? If you want to be something, you look, you practice, you emulate, and you see it, and you put it forth. Why we are not lining ourselves up with the other states that doing it? Why are you? I don't see it, but we hollering statehood. Right? That's just my piece of that. And Brother Charles, I'm gonna get you closed out, Mike. Brother Charles, I'm coming to you. Wrap this up with and what you think that your solution to this all should be.
I think the solution that we always is that we was at a meeting. They said in the order of the organization of the city, at the top is the people. then the mayor. At the top is the people, then the mayor. So I'm saying, let's follow the order of organization. The people have to take a stand, and the people have to police themselves, and the people have to be more active in finding alternatives to the DC criminal code, and be more proactive in doing things to make everybody aware that we can control ourselves. That you ain't give us home rule, you ain't giving us self-determination. We taking self-determination, and we gonna take home rule in the form of doing the things that need to be done to heal our community and become better people, and stop letting somebody tell us that, oh, y'all need this or y'all need that. No, we know what we need, and we need to go ahead and organize and get what we need.
Thank you. That was well said. Brother Dickerson-El?
Oh, man. Well, I concur with Brother Charles. It's a lot of stuff that got to be done with us as a people before anything can be changed. One of the things that I believe that that really need to come into play is more unity. Neighborhoods and the way it was when I was growing up. I don't want to tell myself my age, but when I was growing up, man, we like Charles was saying, man, far as not actually the policing, but we had more activity in the community. You know what I'm saying? Because we was new home buyers. A lot of us was, coming from the South, coming to DC, and we was new home buyers, and we had more activity in our communities. Like the neighborhood watch and stuff like that. And we used to get together and police ourselves and come up with things like, hey man, we need new rec centers and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. See, we need to start taking more of a political stance amongst ourselves instead of keep worrying about these other politicians. Because it was a little saying that I heard, and it was said that a slave said that us as earlier today, that lady said the slave said us as a people, we buy what we want and beg for what we need. And I'm just thinking about that, and it resonated so bad because we so busy buying what we want instead of buying what we need. Mm-hmm. And that's what we need to do. We need to be investing on what we need, not what we want. The people, DC, they done turned everybody into bums by giving out all these handouts, and every organization giving away something. And we the things that we really need, we wait for the government to give to us instead of us pushing forward to get what we want. And, out of the government and the things that we need. We got to change our priorities, man, and really start, pushing forward and getting to these politics of things.
Well said. In my closing, I want to say I seen some of the most horrific things I ever thought I'd never see here in DC when against its people. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, because they saying it's crime going on in DC. Yes, it is crime. It's crime in every city, every state. It's crime everywhere. America was built on crime. But what I seen, some of the courageous acts that was here that happened to my people in this city during the COVID when people was lining up in the streets and you had military tanks, helicopters flying low to people on the ground doing this. There was crimes that was committed against my people. Reason why I'm saying this because if y'all don't see it, it's changing. And if we don't stand up for it as a people and demand our rights, our constitutional rights. They say we have constitutional rights, but we also want our human being rights as well, right? And because anybody that's a DC citizen, and I'm about to close, anybody that's a DC citizen could be subject to any of these laws at any given day. A misdemeanor. You could be accused of taking something out the giant and you didn't do it and they lock you up. That's a misdemeanor. And you won't have a right to trial. So this is serious stuff. Before we start to jump on bandwagons, let's find out what it is and get more engaged with our city council. I think we need to be more engaged in some of these meetings and sitting in some of these, I'm talking the city, our people sitting in these meetings and find out what they're being said and what is being sent up to these Congress before they put it in writing. And That's my word. I'm sticking to it. And we out. Solutions from the Yard.
You've been listening to Solutions from the Yard. This podcast is presented by Voices for a Second Chance, a comprehensive reentry program that provides culturally appropriate, trauma-informed, gender-specific, and peer-based services. For more information, go to info@vscdc.org or visit our website at www.vscdc.org.